Hi, Analisa Six here with the Sober Curator and the Lady of Leisure to bring you the July 2023 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Virgo for sun and rising placements. That narrative is always so funny to me, and I'm surprised that I get it right more often than not. Hi, Virgo, how's it going? It's July. We start out July kind of with a bang. It's July 1st today that I'm recording this video, and we start out with a aspect that's happening in the sky called a cazimi between the sun and Mercury. So the sun and Mercury are making a conjunction, which is known as a cazimi. And the area of the chart that this is hitting for Virgo starting out July is the area that represents your community and your relationship to group environments. And so Cancer season is a pretty active time for the Virgo horoscope chart. There's a lot of social engagements, networking, a desire to be social with Mercury here. And so if you feel like your life has been kind of overrun by other people's problems or other people's engagements or events, or if there's things that you feel like you've been really wanting to do that bring community and people together, that is highlighted starting July out. My mom is a Virgo, and she is a very event-oriented person, community-oriented person, and she also has a swimming pool now at her house. And so I automatically just think of all the pool parties that she's probably having and wanting to have, and people that she's hosting in that way. And it's such a positive time of year to be doing those things in the summer, but I feel like it's really supported for the Virgo horoscope chart as well. We also have the asteroid Juno in this mix, which is the asteroid that has to do with marriage and contractual partnership. And so if your romantic partner or marital partner or business partner is also kind of in the swing of these events or these social engagements, parties, whatever, that would track with this placement also kind of being thrown in here. Another thing that we have starting out July is a stellium in Leo. So even though it's Cancer season, we still got a lot of Leo energy going on. We've got Lilith, Venus, Mars, and Pallas Athena all in Leo. And the area that this is hitting in the chart is kind of the total opposite type of energy than what the Cancer energy is hitting. It's actually a little bit more introverted, more introspective, and requires us to want to spend a little bit more time maybe going internally into the spiritual realms and maybe reflecting on the subconscious or the past or memories from the past potentially coming up. But in Leo, it also ignites our desire to be creative. So if you've been feeling like some of your creative energy has been suppressed and that there needs to be some kind of release for it, that is supported here. Having Mars and Pallas Athena here also brings up issues around repressed anger. And so if there's been things kind of getting triggered in you that bring up more of this kind of ignited reactive energy where you feel like that's kind of something you're keeping hidden, that's also something that's really valuable to process and work through over the month of July. Where is that coming from, and how do you heal that? What is your relationship to expressing anger? What is your relationship to expressing ideas and creative energy? And why does it feel repressed? Why does it feel like something that maybe isn't quite getting out in the way that it needs to? Venus passing through here wants to bring healing and resolution and wants you to find ways to express yourself openly and in a heart-centered way that promotes confidence and growth around this. And some of the repressed anger might be coming out in dreams. So if you're having dreams where you're yelling or screaming, or even dreams where there's violence happening, that can oftentimes be a symbol of having repressed trauma or anger and not knowing how to get it out in waking life. I know when I've been going through things where I'm trying really hard to not overtly share how upset I am about something, like I'm trying to be more tactful, which is something that Virgo's really good at. Like Virgo wants to be more analytical and practical and tactful about things instead of things just like blowing up and being crazy. What inadvertently happens sometimes is that the feeling doesn't necessarily get worked through or processed, and so then it manifests in other ways. So that could be health issues, that can also be in the subconscious, in the dream space, where you start having these dreams that are really intense, where there's violence or anger, and then you're waking up and you're like, why am I having such chaotic dreams? And it's usually a sign that there's something being repressed emotionally in that way. And so I don't like to promote violence or yelling or screaming as like a constructive way of dealing with conflict. But I think that there's value in getting anger expressed in a way that's healthy. And so healthy ways to express anger without necessarily taking it out on other people can be, journaling your anger. One of my friends recently said that she went and had a cathartic scream in a park because she was having such an irritable day and she was so angry that she needed to go to a park and just scream it out, which I think is great. I've definitely done that in pillows. Like I've gone into my room and just grabbed a pillow and just been like, like I need to get out. The best thing for me expressing anger has really been exercise, like physical exercise. I also really enjoy Kundalini yoga and doing like breath, like pranayama type work where there's like, like that kind of like, breath work that's released anger in my body. So I think for Virgo, that could be really positive, like physical activity for expressing anger. And essentially what you're doing is you're just working the frequency of energy, that tension through the body, so that when you go to have the conversation with somebody or process the feeling with somebody, you're not operating from a place that is amped up where it feels like you're going to blow, and I've found that to be really constructive for me. Like if I'm communicating where I'm that upset, it's not good. Like it usually, like then I'm operating from a very Mars place where I'm mad and I'm expressive and I'm angry. But if I work all of that through the body first and I get it out through the body, by the time I go to have the conversation, my feelings aren't necessarily different. I don't necessarily feel like I'm not upset about it, but I'm not like communicating in an aggressive, angry way. I can say what I need to say in more of this like softer or practical, tempered way. So I think that's something that, you might be reflecting on over this time period, because we're going to have Mars here for the first week. And then after the first week of July, on the 10th, Mercury is actually going to be moving into Leo and Mars is going to be moving into your natal sign of Virgo. And so there's kind of this need for you to really find this personal empowerment with Mars passing through your, rising or sun sign. And it's also going to be in the area of the chart that has to do with identity. And when Mars is here, we might also be experiencing some kind of identity crisis or conflict, and also this need to really be able to assert ourselves and express conflict and express confrontation in a way that gains results. Virgo is very results driven and problem solving. So there might be a really big emphasis on that. And then with Mercury and Leo, there's still this need in this area of the chart to find a way to express the self that's constructive. And Leo can be very stubborn and arrogant and prideful over its self-expression if it's not operating from the right place. If it's operating from a triggered, threatened place, it can be that way. But when Leo is in a better place, in a more healed place or a more enlightened, evolved place, it has more of that ability to be open-hearted and compassionate and hold space and be loving. And so there's opportunity for all of it, but it takes conscious, active work to decide, how we want to operate from that place. So those are big themes for you this month. And of course, processing things from the past and in the subconscious. Doing dream work, like Jungian dream work, could be really constructive for you over the month of July, for sure. If we backtrack a little bit though, and go back to more the first few days, it's July 1st today that I'm recording this video, but on July 3rd, we're going to have a full moon in Capricorn, and it's going to be at 11 degrees of Capricorn. And the area that it's hitting for Virgo is, let's see here, it's happening in the area that Leo traditionally rules. So it's the area of self-expression, creative self-expression, also where we find joy and passion for things. And so this is a really positive time to be reflecting on all of those themes and finding out like what drives you, what makes you feel like you are empowered to create or express yourself. And setting intentions around how you can manifest a more powerful, positive relationship to your creativity and how you express it with others is also really supported, since we have that community axis and self-expression axis highlighted for this full moon. So that's happening. And Capricorn makes a positive trine aspect to Virgo. Earth likes Earth. So it's also really positive for working on kind of your identity and your self-esteem and how you're confidently putting yourself out into your creative projects. So then, the 10th, we have the Mercury moving into Leo, Mars moving into Virgo. Mars is going to be in Virgo for the rest of the month. Mercury is only going to be in Leo for a few weeks. And then by the end of the month, Mercury will actually be entering Virgo, which is great for Virgos because Mercury is your ruling planet. Mercury is in domicile in Virgo, and Mercury really likes to be in Virgo. So that should amplify kind of the ability for you to figure out more of how to express yourself, because it's going to be passing through that area of identity and giving you more of a grounded approach to expressing yourself, even with Mars still here. Like there's definitely more of this like straightforward, analytical, strategic way to start relating to yourself that might not be quite as emotion based as it was being in Leo. But still a lot of opportunity for that this month in terms of, marrying the problem solving aspects of Virgo with the passion parts of Leo. On the 17th, we're going to have our new moon happening in Cancer. And so Cancer energy will be highlighted. This is a really good time to set intentions for who you want to be in your community, and also the community that you want to cultivate around you, the groups that you associate with, all of that kind of stuff, the friendships that you're a part of. So setting intentions around those themes is really positive. We also have the nodal axis moving from Taurus and Scorpio into Aries and Libra for the next year and a half. And so that, what's been highlighted for you has been travel, long distance travel, values, belief systems, and also kind of like more of the metaphysical, spiritual, types of energy. And then where you're going in terms of this nodal axis, it has more to do with your relationship to shared resources, financial institutions, shared resources through marriage or inheritance, and then also your relationship to sex, death, and rebirth. It's the Scorpio, kind of themes. And so the nodal axis is going to be pulling you into more of those types of things over the next year and a half. We also have, I guess that's it for the 17th in terms of what I feel like talking about. On the 23rd, we're going to officially move into Leo season. And so the sun is going to be moving into that area that I was talking about at the beginning of the month where Venus and Mars are starting out. And so the sun's going to be highlighting that subconscious area. And hopefully, I think that this is positive in the sense that maybe some of the more angry, repressed feelings that might have been feeling, rocky at the start of July, the sun coming in here, I think is actually going to bring some vitality and healing and energy here that's positive. So hopefully there's kind of more harmony moving into Leo season. However, Venus will be stationing retrograde here. So you are still going to be working through some challenges in terms of the healing process, so it might start off kind of like turbulent in July and rocky. And then by the end of the month, you're working more into healing, but it's not necessarily smooth with Venus here either. Issues around self-worth and self-concept are a big theme for Virgo too, with Mercury, entering the Virgo party. And I also failed to mention, like when Mars moves into Virgo, Pallas Athena is also moving into Virgo. So there's a lot of need for personal empowerment and like asserting the self in a way that builds confidence. But I think that you have to be careful too, because if you overly assert yourself, it can also push people away or come off, too selfish or too arrogant. But you're also supported in being more self-oriented for the month of July, but also community focused for the month of July. So there's a little bit of both, which I think is good in terms of balancing that out, because often if we're very community focused and focused on other people, we do need a lot of recharge time away that is more self-oriented. So if there's an opportunity for you there to kind of have a little bit of both, and getting into a place with yourself where you're doing things that align with who you are and promote more confidence within the self. Mercury or Venus is going to be retrograde until September. And then Mercury stations retrograde at the end of August in Virgo. So we have a lot of retrograde energy happening in July, and then it continues in August. And so it's going to be a rocky summer in some ways for a lot of us, but it's also an opportunity for us to really course correct and heal and process and work through things that we might have been not having the bandwidth for in the past. And now it's coming up and now it's demanding our attention. So there's a lot of, need to kind of give the deeper parts of the self and the ego your time and figure out what the next step is of evolution for yourself around those themes. All right, Virgo, I think that's all I have for you. And I wish you the best of luck. And I will see you in August when we start to go from Leo into Virgo season. So we're getting close to your birthday month. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think, if any of this resonated for you. And thanks for watching.